Picture this, right now, 400 feet beneath the Mediterranean Sea. A sailor is brushing his teeth with water that was inside someone else's body yesterday. He's eating breakfast that was cooked in an oven smaller than your microwave. And in 6 hours, he'll crawl into a bed that's still warm from the guy who just got out. Welcome to the strange daily routine of submarine sailors you never knew about, where normal human patterns collapse into something that sounds like science fiction but is brutally, suffocatingly real. The day begins before it ends. Actually, there is no day. No morning sunlight creeping through windows, no sunset marking time's passage. The submarine runs on an 8-hour cycle instead of 24. 6 hours on watch, 12 hours off. Your body fights this for weeks. Your circadian rhythm screams that something's wrong. You feel jet-lagged permanently, except there's no jet and no time zones. Just an arbitrary schedule invented because submarines need constant manning and there aren't enough sailors. So your Tuesday lasts 18 hours. You sleep during someone else's afternoon. You eat dinner while another crew eats breakfast. Time fractures into meaningless segments marked only by watch rotations and meal periods. One submarine sailor described it perfectly. You stop counting days and start counting sleeps. The morning routine, if we can even call it that, happens in mechanical precision. You wake up whenever your body decides it's had enough sleep. Could be 4 hours, could be 9. It depends on how exhausted you were, how noisy the compartment is, whether someone needs your rack for maintenance access. You don't stretch. Can't. The overhead is 18 inches from your face. You slide out sideways, careful not to kick the sailor below you or bang into the rack across from yours. Your feet hit the deck, and immediately you're surrounded by bodies. Privacy died the moment you descended. The bathroom situation gets weird fast. There are 6 toilets for 130 people. Do that math, guys. That's like 1 toilet per 22 sailors. But submarine toilets aren't normal toilets. They're pressurized systems that use air pressure to blast waste into a holding tank. If you don't follow the procedure exactly, sewage can explode back at you, seriously. There's a 12-step process to flush. You open valves in sequence. You pressurize the bowl. You discharge the waste. One submarine sailor spent his entire first month paranoid he'd mess up the sequence and become that guy who broke the head. The fear is real because submarine history is filled with stories of sailors who flooded entire compartments with sewage because they skipped step 7. Showers, which we touched on earlier, operate under insane restrictions. But what I didn't mention is the social hierarchy of shower access. New guys shower last. Always. Senior enlisted get priority during their off-watch periods. Officers technically get their own facilities. But on attack submarines, even that distinction blurs when space runs out. Some submarines implement shower cards. You get 3 cards per week. Every card is good for 1 3-minute shower. Use all 3 early in the week? Too bad. You're living on body wipes until next Monday. The weird part is how fast you stop caring about being clean. By week 3, sailors develop this tolerance for their own funk. Your nose adjusts, your standards collapse. A quick wipe down becomes acceptable. Real showers become luxuries you barely remember. Breakfast isn't breakfast. It's whatever meal corresponds to your watch rotation. You might eat scrambled eggs at 7 p.m. because that's when your morning happens. The guy next to you is eating spaghetti because for him, it's dinner time. The crew's mess seats maybe 20 people. There are 130 sailors on board. Meals operate in continuous rotation. You grab food, find a seat if you're lucky, eat standing up if you're not. The food itself? Well, the first month is actually decent. Real eggs, fresh fruit, vegetables that crunch. Then supplies dwindle. Powdered eggs replace real ones. Apples disappear. By month 2, you're eating variations of the same 12 meals on endless repeat. I think submarine cooks deserve medals. These guys create edible food in kitchens where everything slides around during depth changes, where ovens malfunction randomly, and where ingredient availability depends on what hasn't been consumed yet. But wait, there's a secret weapon. Dessert. Submarine cooks make desserts that would make civilian bakeries jealous. Fresh cookies, real cakes. One submarine baker became legendary for creating a cinnamon roll recipe using whatever random ingredients remained in stores. Those cinnamon rolls got traded like currency. Work happens in spaces that shouldn't fit humans. Attack submarine crew members spend their watch periods in compartments that redefine claustrophobia. The sonar room fits 6 technicians shoulder to shoulder, each wearing headphones, each listening for acoustic signatures that might indicate enemy vessels. They sit motionless for 6-hour stretches, analyzing sounds most people couldn't distinguish from random ocean noise. One sonar tech said the hardest part isn't the listening. It's staying alert during hour 4 when your brain starts creating phantom sounds. When you're so focused on detecting threats that you begin hearing patterns that don't exist. The engine room is worse. Nuclear reactor temperatures hover around 500 degrees Fahrenheit, just beyond a steel wall. Machinery operators monitor gauges, adjust systems, respond to automated warnings while sweating through their uniforms. The temperature regularly hits 95 degrees. The humidity makes breathing feel like drowning. These guys work 6-hour shifts in conditions that would violate OSHA regulations on land. No breaks. No stepping outside for fresh air. No relief except when their replacement shows up. Between watch periods comes the qualification grind. Every sailor on a submarine, regardless of their primary job, must qualify in submarine warfare. Yes, that means learning every system, memorizing hundreds of procedures, standing before boards of senior sailors who grill you mercilessly. New submariners carry qualification cards everywhere. During their off-watch hours, instead of sleeping, they're corner-loading senior sailors. Can you sign off on my qualification on the high-pressure air system? It takes months, sometimes over a year. And until you qualify, until you earn those dolphins, you're nobody. You're a non-qual. You get the worst tasks, the least respect, the most scrutiny. But this is where the routine breaks pattern. Around week 8, something psychological shifts. Sailors stop thinking about the surface, stop counting days until port, stop fantasizing about normal life. They accept that the submarine is reality now. Everything else becomes the fantasy. Veterans recognize this moment in new sailors. The moment when someone stops asking, how many days left, and starts asking, what's for midrats? The human brain is excellent at normalizing the abnormal when survival depends on it. Submariners develop rituals that preserve sanity. Coffee becomes ceremonial. Some sailors only drink coffee prepared by specific crew members, claiming they can taste the difference. This is objectively ridiculous, but absolutely real. The torpedo room transforms into a makeshift gym during off hours. Sailors do pull-ups from exposed pipes, push-ups between weapons. They've created workout routines using nothing but body weight and creativity. One crew built a dartboard from cardboard and tape, placed it in the missile compartment, organized tournaments. With elaborate brackets, guys would schedule their sleep around dart matches. These rituals matter because they create structure where structure shouldn't exist. They build normalcy from chaos. Sleep is where things get genuinely strange. Hot racking means you're sharing your bed with 2 other sailors. You never meet them, never speak to them, but you know intimate details about their lives. The guy before you likes to read. You find his bookmark every night, marking his progress through some worn paperback. He's on page 247. Your other rack partner snores. You know because sailors in adjacent racks complain about it. Apparently, he also sleeps with his arms above his head, which somehow makes the snoring worse. You leave things for each other. A stick of gum placed on the small shelf. An extra pillow that appeared one day. Small gestures that acknowledge the other person's existence without requiring direct interaction. Some sailors keep rack journals, notebooks hidden in their sleeping space where they write messages to their unknown rack partners. Had a tough watch. Hope yours goes better. Thanks for leaving the fan on. Made sleeping easier. These journals become therapy. a way to feel less alone while surrounded by 129 other people. The curtain separating your rack from the passageway provides the only privacy you'll experience. When that curtain closes, you're in your own world. 7 feet long, 2 feet wide, and 3 feet tall. Some guys customize this space obsessively. Photos covering every inch of the bulkhead, lights rigged at specific angles, organizational systems for their limited possessions. Others keep it bare, monk-like, as if decorating would acknowledge that this metal coffin is home. The evening routine, which isn't evening, continues the pattern. After your watch ends, you're exhausted but not tired. Your body is confused. It's been awake for 6 hours doing intense mental work, but it's only been 6 hours, not a full day. So you eat. Again, midrats exists specifically for this weird in-between state. Midrats is where rank truly disappears. Officers and enlisted eating together at 1 a.m., everyone too tired to maintain formality. Conversations happen that would never occur during daylight hours, if daylight existed. This is where you learn that the executive officer collects baseball cards, where the youngest seaman admits he's never seen Star Wars, where the grizzled chief talks about his kid's graduation he missed. Submarine brotherhood forms during midrats. Shared exhaustion creates honesty. Then comes the decision every submariner faces. Sleep now or qualify? Sleep is tempting. Your rack calls. But you need signatures on your qualification card. You need to corner that senior chief who's impossible to catch during normal hours. Most sailors choose qualifying. Sleep becomes secondary to advancing, to prove they belong. The routine ends where it began, or doesn't end, because there's no end. Just another 18-hour cycle beginning immediately after this one finishes. And the truly insane part of this story is that submariners prefer this. Yes, ask any qualified submariner about surface ships, and they'll tell you submarines are better. The camaraderie is tighter. The work is more meaningful. The lifestyle makes sense in ways that outsiders can't comprehend. Because once you've lived 90 days in an environment that erases normal human patterns, once you've adapted to breathing manufactured air and sleeping in shifts and eating breakfast at midnight, regular life feels wrong. One retired submariner said returning to civilian life was harder than adapting to submarine duty. Normal schedules felt restrictive. Privacy felt lonely. Having a bedroom to himself felt wasteful. Right now, beneath the Pacific, sailors are living this routine. They're 6 hours into a watch period or 4 hours into a sleep cycle. They're eating dinner at 0300 or showering at 1400. They're living on 18-hour days in 24-hour bodies. And when they finally surface, when they finally breathe unprocessed air, they'll spend exactly 30 days with their families before requesting to go back down. Now I want to hear from you. Could you handle 90 days on an 18-hour schedule with no sunlight, no privacy, and no normal routine? Be honest. Drop your answer in the comments below.